Hi.
If somebody is brave enough to come up and write the answer to a question on the smart board.
Will you help her?
It's a pretty easy question. So yes, I will. It's actually a pretty easy question. What?
Understand it? No.
Yes. Well, at least somebody's interested. Come on, somebody else? Anybody? I'm just gonna ask you to write something on the board. And then I'm gonna ask you to write something else. That no one will. You'll be able to get the first one. Then can you do the second question? Okay. Okay, so let's say, remember last term we talked about domain and range. That one right there. And then you got to choose a color. So you got to go up to the pen. Yeah. Oh, no. Below the arrow. Yeah. Choose your color that you like. Okay. So remember we did domain and range last term. And so you were like given something, you were asked to write the domain or you were asked to write the range, right? So let's say the domain was the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Write it. Okay, and what did we always put around them? Right. No, yeah, just add it. You can add the braces. Oh, no, we don't need no braces around the X. We don't need erasers up there. There you go. You just like those parentheses. Perfect. Okay. Let's say this is the question I don't think anybody's going to get. I could be wrong. Somebody might be able to get it. What if I said the domain was the numbers 1, 2, 4? How would you write those? Not 1, 2, 3, and 4. All the numbers from 1 to 4.
Oh.
How would you write it? Well, I guess you start at 1. What's the next number after 1?
2.
1 point.
1.1.
What about 1.01? What about 1.001? What about 1.000000000 and pretend I'm talking to infinity 1? 1 to 4.
4 is less than like.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's one way. That's one way you can write it. Okay. The point I'm trying to make is we need a different type of notation because you can't list them. It's impossible. Okay. So there is a way to do it. There's actually 3 ways to do it. Perfect. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I know this looks like a long one, but actually the pages are very quick. So 3 ways you can do it. And this time I'm going to talk, instead of 1 to 4, I'm going to say, how would you rate the numbers 5 to 7? Well, the numbers 5, 6, and 7 is easy. 5, 6, 7 with braces around. Okay? But 5 to 7, there's 3 ways we can write it. We can use a number line. We did this last year. Okay? We can use something called inequality symbols, which we talked about last year, and I'll review again. And then we can do a new type of notation that most of you will like. You will prefer that type, believe me. You don't even know what's coming. You're shaking your head. All right, so what if I wanted to do 5 to 7? Well, here's a number line. Let's say this is 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want to show the numbers from 5 to 7. So I start at 5. And I end at 7. And I draw a segment between them. Now, if you remember this from last year, we talked about hollow circles or open circles and filled in ones. Filled in, we include the numbers, right? Hollow, we don't. So if I said the numbers 5 to 7, I didn't say between 5 and 7. So that means I have to include the 2. So that's what it looks like. That's it. That's a visual number line picture of 5 to 7. So that's what we call number line notation. Set notation uses these symbols that we did talk about last year and you've seen before last year. What does this one mean? Do we remember?
Less than?
Or is it greater than?
Oh, no. Greater?
You sure? Good for you. You wouldn't be confident. It's less than. Okay? Don't let me mess with your head, Zara. Okay? Don't make it so easy. You say, no, it's less than. I know this. I know this. You're just trying to mess with me. What about this one?
Greater than or greater?
Yeah, this one.
Less than or equal to?
Less than or equal to.
Greater than.
Okay, so if we want to write 5 to 7 using set notation, this is how we do it. We put 5 and 7 as our boundaries. Okay. X represents any number between 5 and 7, and these are the symbols I use. I always use, if it's between two numbers, I always use less than or equal to in both of them. I use or equal to because it can be 5 and it can be 7. Okay? That's all you do. Because if you think about it, if you read this backwards, the number is greater than or equal to 5 and it's less than or equal to 7. This new one you haven't seen before. Interval notation. And it's pretty straightforward. All you do is you're going to write it almost like it looks like a coordinate. So the first number will be the lowest number in your span. It's 5. The last number, the right number, will be the highest number in your span, which is 7. We put a comma between them. Now, instead of using braces, okay, I use parentheses or brackets. Parentheses means don't include the ends. Brackets means include the ends. So because I want to include the end numbers 5 and 7, I put a bracket around the 5 and a bracket around the 7. That's it. That's all it is. Okay, so all I want to do is I want to just practice doing different spans, and that's it. So this next one, this time, all the numbers that are equal to 5 or less than 5. How would we do that using number line. Well, first of all, I'll start 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How do I show everything less than or equal to 5? So what would I put at the 5? Sorry?
Closed off?
Yeah. Because I include it. And everything less than that. Remember how we did it? An arrow to the left. That's it. How do we show it using inequality signs? Well, we don't have two numbers now. It's just one number. And it's everything less than or equal to. So every number less than or equal to 5. That's it. That's all we write. Okay, this next one, you're going to have to bend your mind a little bit. Notation for an interval. Everything less than or equal to 5. What's the highest number in that span? 5. Do I include it or not? Which means what kind of symbol do I put around?
Sorry.
Look at the previous page. Bracket. Now, this is where you got to bend yourself a little bit. What's the lowest number?
Negative infinity.
Does everybody understand that? It goes down forever. So into the negatives and onto the negatives forever. So we would write negative infinity. And whenever you have infinity symbols, you always put a parenthesis. Why? Because infinity technically doesn't end. Okay? I mean, because what's smaller than negative infinity? Negative infinity minus 1. You see how it just messes with you? Okay. This one. Greater than 5, less than 7. All right, so I'll start with my 0 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to have circles at the 5 and 7, and then a segment connecting, right? Question is, what kind of circles at 5 and 7? Open ones, right? Because it doesn't say greater than or equal to, it just says greater than. So we don't include 5. It doesn't say less than or equal to 7, it says less than 7, so we don't include 7. But then we include everything in between, so we have to draw a segment. How about set notation?
5 is less than X and like less than 7.
Right. We put the numbers on, we put the boundaries on the ends, 5 and 7. We put the X in the middle, but because we're not including, we just put less than. We don't put the little bars underneath. Now, what about interval?
5, 7.
5, 7 with parentheses. Don't confuse this with a coordinate. This is not the point 5, 7. It also means all the numbers between 5 and 7. Okay. You see that we're starting to move through these pretty quickly. Okay. All right. Greater than or equal to 5, less than 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. What kind of circles?
Blue symbol on 5, we're going to include on.
Because we include 5, we put a closed. We're not including 7, so we put an open, everything in between. Remember set mutation, we've got 5 and X and 7. Because we include 5, we need the less than or equal to. Because we don't include 7, we need the less than. And interval. Well, we got 5 comma 7. What kind of symbol goes around the 5? Bracket. What kind of symbol goes around the 7? Exactly. That's it. Okay. Wait a minute. Do this one? Oh, what? Did I do it? You know what? I did the first question incorrectly. Sorry about that. Okay. Actually, let's do it like this. So we don't have to erase and rewrite. So we're going to put greater than or equal to 5 and less than or equal to 7. So we don't have to change it. Okay. So just change the wording. We don't have to change the entire question and all the answers. Okay. Anybody still need this? What are you looking at? Or which one? Here? Yeah. Got it. Okay. And then we'll take this one. I'm just crossing that. So I just sort of flipped the two examples because I thought the first one was 5 to 7. Should have read the question more carefully. Okay, so everything greater than 5, every number greater than 5. Well, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What would I do? Everything greater than 5. Arrow going to the right.
And it'd be like colored in circle?
Do we include? It says greater than 5.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
So open. And then, yes, the arrow to the right. Using inequalities. Well, think of it. Every number, so I'll call it X, greater than 5. Every number greater than 5. I just write it down as I read it to myself. And in interval, well, what's the lowest number in the span? 5. What's the highest?
Infinity.
Infinity. So what goes around? Parentheses definitely around the infinity, always, but also parentheses around the 5, because we don't include it. Okay? Yeah, let's take this one out. We're not going to do this one. Because to be honest, we won't see it I don't think you'll ever see it. Okay? I meant actually to take this one out. Because we're actually going to start using these things in domain and range questions, but you'll never get a domain question that'll involve this, because it's when we have two spans of numbers, we do things a little differently. We have to add some notation. So I'm not going to worry about it. So let's just look at the last one. So this one you got to kind of think about again. How would you represent every number?
Infinity number.
But using a number line.
Just like an arrow on both.
Yeah, like wouldn't it just be like this? You don't even, I mean, you can put a number 0 if you want, but you don't need it. Because it's just everything. So it's the whole number line. This one, it's weird looking.
Isn't it XCR?
Yes. To represent every number, we don't use a less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to sign. We use a fancy looking E. And a fancy looking R. I call it double bar R. What does that mean? It's just math notation for X is an element of a real number. Real numbers are every number that we talked about in math. Rational numbers, irrational numbers, fractions that end, fractions that don't end. Or sorry, fractions, decimals that end, decimals that don't end, decimals that repeat. Numbers that never end or never repeat, like pi. Okay? All of those are what we call real numbers. Negative numbers, positive numbers, 0. They're all real numbers. And an integral notation, yes. So if we're talking about every number, what's the lowest number in that span? That's the highest number. And automatic parentheses around infinity symbols. Okay? Okay.